Hi, seventh grade. How are you? Hope you had a great spring break. Let me just get my PowerPoint ready. Let's see. Just gotta slideshow. Okay, great. And then I wanna minimize my window for now. I'm gonna maximize my window a little bit later. Okay, so welcome. Woo! Happy Easter! I hope you guys had a really good Sunday celebrating Easter with your family, with your church. For me, we did it virtually online. What about you guys? How did you guys celebrate Easter? Okay, so today we're going to review volume and surface area of solids. So we're just going to review chapter 8. We're going to review today, and then we're going to finish our review tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, you'll have your chapter 8 assessment. Now, just to recap, okay, this is found at this awesome chart is found at the end of your chapter 8 section in your textbook. And so I would recommend referring back to that. That's what I've been doing when I was working on the problems. And so feel free to do it because your chapter 8 assessment is going to be an open book assessment. Okay. All right. So right now I'm just gonna make my window a little bit bigger so you guys can see me. Okay. All right. So let me see. How do I? There we go. So the first problem that we're going to do, you guys can just read it on your own. Pause the video if you need to read it. Okay. So it says to find the volume of each cylinder to the nearest unit. And so in this case, we're going to round it to the nearest whole number. And the directions before these problems, numbers 1 through 10, is said to use 3.14 as an approximation for pi, unless it said so otherwise. Okay, so when I look at the chart, I see that the volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r squared h. Okay, and so part A, it gives us the radius, which is r, which is 4.2. Okay, so I'm just gonna input that in. Okay, so I'm gonna write V is equal to pi times r squared, and r in this case is 4.2 squared times, and then the height that's given is 14 inches. Okay, and then if you just do this on your calculator, it'll become 246.96 pi. Okay, and if we put 3.14 as an approximation for pi, okay, it's going to round to this whole number. Okay, so it'll be 775 cubic inches. All right. Now for part B, it gives you a different value for R and a different value for H. Okay. And so let's look here. Okay, I'm going to use the same equation at the top or formula at the top for the volume of a cylinder. Okay, so here, let's see if I can just put it here. Can you still see? Okay, so volume is equal to pi times, and here R is 7 squared times, and then the height is 12. Okay, and then if you input this in your calculator, you'll get 588 pi, and we're going to use 3.14 as an approximation for pi. And again, that'll roll it round, that'll be this actually, okay? 1,846 cubic inches. And we are doing cubic inches here because it's talking about volume. If it was talking about area, we would have to do square inches, right? Okay. Alrighty. Let's move on. On that. All right. So number 3. Okay. We're going to find the volume of each pyramid with the given dimensions, okay? And so if you look at that awesome chart, you're going to see that the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times the base of the pyramid. And the base of the pyramid might be a square or it might be a rectangle, okay? And then times the height, okay? So A, it says that it's a square, all right? So if it's a square, then all the edges are the same length, right? And so it says the edge is 6 centimeters, okay? So let me see. So the volume of a pyramid with the base of a square is, so the base area is 6, the edge times the edge. Okay, so it can be 6 squared. Okay, can you see it okay? I feel like it's not very clear. So maybe I will change it to a darker marker. Let's see. I think this one should be better. Okay, so volume is equal to 1/3 times 6 squared. This is the edge of the square. So 6 times 6, which is 6 squared, times the height, which is 4. Okay, and yeah, and then if you do this, it becomes 144 thirds, which is equal to 48 cubic centimeters. Okay. Let's look at B. All right, now B gives you the base as a rectangle. So if it's a rectangle, then we know we have to do, to find the area of the base, we have to do length times width, right? Okay, so let's look here. Okay, so volume is equal to 1/3 times the base of the base, which is a rectangle, and the length is 6 and the width is 3.3. Okay, so we're going to do 6 times 3.3 times the height is 7 inches, okay, times 7, okay, and that'll become 138.6 thirds, right, which is equal to 46.2 cubic inches. Okay, all right. Okay, I think the blue works the best. I'm gonna stick with the blue. Okay. Now let's look at number 5. Okay. Oh, I'm too big here, so I'm gonna minimize my. Okay, maybe here. All right. And so in 5, it says find the exact surface area of each solid. So there's a A, B, and C, okay? I have A here, I have B here, and I have C on another board. So I'll bring it up when it's time to do C, okay? So the surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared, okay? So in here, they're giving us the radius as 3, so times 3, and then the height is 6, right? Okay, plus 2 pi and then r is 3, right? So it's 3 squared, okay? And then that becomes 36 pi plus, and here that becomes 18 pi, which is equal to, now remember this, we can just add the 36 and 18 and then multiply it by pi, right? Okay, because this is the same thing as if we take out a common factor of pi, then this becomes 36 plus 18 times pi, right? Which is equal to 54, or you can reverse this and write it like this. And then if we input 3.14 as an approximation for pi, this becomes 169.56 square feet. Now square feet because we're finding the surface area, okay? But the thing is, look back at the question. We have to read the question carefully. It says to find the exact surface area. We use an approximation for pi here, right? So this is actually not exact. To make it exact, we have to leave it with pi, okay? Because pi is not an approximation. So 54 pi square feet for this one, okay? All right, so let's go to B. Now B is the surface area of a sphere is 4 times pi r squared, okay? And in this case here, r is 14 squared, okay? And then this becomes 784 pi. And again, we want to leave it as exact because the question says to find the exact surface area of each solid. Okay, so this is a 4. If you can't read it, just 784 pi square meters. I was just trying to find what I needed to write. Okay. All right, and then for part C, I put it here. Okay, so for part C, the surface area of a cone is pi times r squared plus pi times r times the lateral, the slant height, right? L is the slant height. So that's equal to pi times, and then r in that case is 6 squared plus pi times 6 times, and what is the slant height? It's 10. Okay, and this becomes 36 pi plus 60 pi. We're just going to add this 36 and 60 and then multiply by pi, and that becomes 96 pi. And again, this is exact, okay? So that's why we're leaving pi in our answer, 96 pi, and then our units are square inches. Okay, all right. Now, let's see. All right, let's go to number 7, okay? So number 7 gives you the volume of a cone. And so you don't need to find the volume of a cone. It's already given to you. What you need to find, though, is the height of the cone, and you want to find it to the nearest tenth, okay? So in this case, you can use an approximation for pi as 3.14, okay? And so here, I know that the volume of a cone is 1/3 times pi times r squared times h, okay? So they already gave us what the volume of the cone is, which is 450, okay? And then I'm gonna input in what else is given, okay? And then the radius is 5, so 5 squared times h, okay? And so now I see that, okay, this stays the same here on this side. And then if I simplify on the other side, it basically becomes 25 thirds pi times h. All right. And now, oh, I don't like this fraction here. So I'm going to multiply this side of the equation by the reciprocal of 25 thirds. And whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do it on the other side to balance my equation out, right? Okay. And so just to show you in a different color what I'm doing, okay? So here I'm going to multiply this by the reciprocal, 3/25, and whatever I do on one side, I have to do it on the other side. Okay, and that's going to, when I do 25 thirds times 3/25, that's equal to 1. Okay, so I'm going to cross that out because that's just 1. Okay, and if we continue, okay, when I simplify on this side of the equal sign, this becomes 54 is equal to pi times h. And I know pi is not a variable, it's an actual number, okay? So what I'm going to do, and I want to get the height, so I just want the height on its own, okay? So I see that pi is being multiplied by the height, so I want to undo this multiplication. So I have to divide it by pi to get each by itself, okay? So again, with a different color, I'm gonna divide it by pi, and whatever I do on this side of the equal sign, I have to do it on the other side of the equal sign, okay? And that makes my pi's cancel out, okay? And so my h is equal to 54 divided by pi, and we can use 3.14 as an approximation of pi, and if we round it to the nearest tenth, it becomes 17.2 centimeters, because it's height, not area, not volume. We just put centimeters because it measures a length only, okay? All right, we're almost done. Good job hanging in there. Okay, so now let's look at A here, okay? For number 9, okay? And I didn't even do the question yet, okay? All right, so in here it says a cone with a height of 6 inches and a slant height of 7.5 inches has a lateral surface area with an area of approximately 106 square inches, okay? So first, it seems like it's giving me information about surface area. Okay, so I'm gonna think about what is the surface area of a cone. What's my formula? What's my equation for the surface area of a cone? So I find that it's surface area of a cone is pi times r squared plus pi times r times the slant height, L. Okay, now pi times r squared, this is actually the base of the cone, which is a circle, right? But the thing is, look at the question. The question says it gives us the lateral surface area, okay? So in here, in the surface area of a cone, this is the base, and then this is the lateral surface area, LSA, okay? All right, so I'm gonna just use this, pi RL, okay? Because that's the information that was given. And then with that, I can find R, okay? So let's see. So they give us that the lateral surface area is 106 square inches is equal to pi times R times, and then the slant height is 7.5, okay? And then this is equal to, I just switched the order, 7.5 pi times R is equal to 106. And then I want to, I know 7.5 times pi is an actual number. And then my unknown variable is R. Okay, to get R by itself, I just want to divide this side by 7.5 pi. And whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do it on the other side of the equal sign to balance it out. And then I cross that out, right? Because 7.5 pi divided by 7.5 pi is 1, okay? And then, let's see, then r is equal to 106 divided by 7.5 pi, and we can use 3.14 as an approximation for pi, and that rounded to the nearest tenth is 4.5 inches. Okay. So now look at the second part. Okay, the second part is what is the volume of the cone? Round to the nearest tenth. So, oh, well, you know what? Now that I know my R for this cone, I can find the volume quite easily because I know the height and I know my radius R, okay? And so part B, just to rewrite it because it looks kind of messy here, is 1/3 times pi times what's my R? My R is here, so I'm going to use that, 4.5 squared times, and my height is 6, okay? And then this will, when I simplify it, it becomes 40.5 pi, and I'm going to use 3.14 as an approximation for pi, okay? And rounding this to the nearest tenth becomes 127.2, and it's volume. So my units are not inches, not square inches, but cubic inches. All right. So please do numbers 1 through 10 evens for homework today, okay? I'm gonna just minimize my window. Good job. All right, that's all for today. See you tomorrow. Bye.